right, ladies and gentlemen, we are about to start our next presentation. So anybody outside who would like to come in and see some amazing footage and also meet an amazing man himself. So please welcome to the stage, Craig McMahon. Oh, come on, you can do better than that. Craig's come a long way to talk to us today.
Sure.
So there we are.
Hey, Barry.
Here he comes. Lovely. Thank you very much. Now, Craig, we're going to the centre stage here. So there we are. Now, Craig, you have come a long way. Where have you come from today?
Phoenix, Arizona.
Phoenix, Arizona. How about that? All right. Now, you have got you and I have a shared interest in the afterlife.
Yes, we do.
You have done so much. I've done a few books and like to talk on it. So this is wonderful to talk to you. Absolutely fantastic. So tell me a little bit about your background.
Well, I started out making movies, and they were feature films. And then the Divine asked me to start making movies that are more of spiritual nature. And that's when I started to get into research and making movies about what happens when we die, where do we go, what's our purpose, and all that. So this has been going on for 10 years. 30 films I've made.
30 films?
Yeah.
How about that, about the afterlife?
It's a mix.
Well, more than that, yeah.
The other ones were movies about everything, but,
Right.
Yeah.
So that was a big transition for you, wasn't it, from making movies across to working in a spiritual area?
Well, my movies that I made were always of uplifting, positive, inspiring.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the kind of movies that I wanted to make. I didn't want to make, I wanted to make happy movies.
Yeah.
So I started out with family movies, and then I went into the spiritual content, and that's when I found my home.
So when you said you were inspired, was it a dream? Was it intuition?
No,
What?
I was actually right in the middle of my career making movies, and I had my movies on all the platforms. And I was driving along on the freeway, and Spirit came to me and just said, "It's time. It's time." And I know I had this conversation because I was 20 years old. I was meditating a lot, and they had said later on you'll be experiencing. I didn't know what they meant. Now I know. So that was to make spiritual content. And at first I was a little hesitant, but then they took care of me.
Have you always believed in an afterlife?
Oh, absolutely. At age 9, my brother died in a car accident, and my mom sat me down and said, "Hey, your brother's died." I said, "No, he didn't." A 9-year-old, that's how you are. You're like, "No, he didn't. He's like right here." So my mom and we had this spiritual conversation our whole life, and then more things happened in life.
That's right. Well, your talk today is all about there is no death.
No, there is no death.
There isn't. Only the body dies.
That's right. And we
That's
just go to the next place.
That's right. I mean, so many people think, don't they, the body is dead, that's the end of life.
Right.
I mean, what would be the point of that?
There would be no point.
No. And life is far more than just a short stint on earth. I always say, you see some children arrive and they have terrible problems and they pass away. Other people live long, healthy lives. Where is the fairness in that?
No, it's not just one life, it's many lives.
Of course it is.
It's just that reincarnation process. So we could come here on this beautiful place to practice and practice and perfect and perfect and ascend.
That's right. I've always called it the evolution of the soul.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So we're on the same boat.
Oh, we are.
You and I should talk for hours, but I can't do that because I want to go out and hear what you have to say. So there we are. So please welcome Craig McMahon, and there is no death. All right? Okay. Please welcome Craig McMahon.
So I'm going to start with my little 8-minute movie that I made just for you guys, just for everybody here. It's not on any of the platforms that I normally put together. It follows the life of a guy named Gary. A typical guy goes through the transition process and what he experiences. Here we are, living our life,
like every other soul out there. And then suddenly, we are faced with our exit point. Meet Gary. He's at the end of his life here on Earth. He is experiencing angelic beings visiting him just prior to his exit. Their message is that he is to come with them. Immediately, a feeling of letting go comes over Gary. He is letting go of his human body below. Still connected to his loved ones, he visits them and experiences their suffering. However, the strong pull from Source is overwhelming to him. All love, all beauty, all knowledge flows into him. Gary then sees his past life elapsing in a timelessness movie in front of him. While reviewing his past life, he is never judged by another of his actions here on Earth, but rather encouraged when he expressed benevolence. He also experiences what it felt like when others were kind to him. Yes, he feels all the pain, suffering, and the hell he caused others, but also the love and kindness he gave. He now knows he could have done better. The impulse to rebirth back into Earth into another body begins. Gary then travels to a healing place where he is bathed in light. He is healed and shed of his earthly densities. He is being prepared for his life back into the astral plane of consciousness of love and light. This rebirth into the afterlife is confusing and overwhelming to him, similar to his human birth experience. Like the death experience, the human birth experience can also be traumatic. Learning how to breathe, hearing loud sounds, experiencing pain, and making sense of confusing visual images can be disturbing to a baby. Once his clearing is completed, Gary is now able to see the self-creation of his soul. He sees that he is no longer limited, but limitless, an infinite part of everything. He is met with loved ones that have passed and is feeling more at home knowing that they are fine and very much alive. Gary then requests that he be met with higher hierarchies. Again, he's not judged, but loved. He is seeking wisdom and a better understanding of his progress thus far. During this immense encounter with these beings, Gary aspires to be like them. He then realizes he has done numerous injustices to many in his lifetime that is keeping him in a very low frequency. Gary sees with full awareness the repercussions of his actions. It is extremely painful for him to see that he loved a person less than he could have. He is shocked at the unintentional harm that he caused his niece. He is stricken with shame. At an instant, Gary finds himself inadvertently slipping into an unfortunate realm. But by the grace of God, he remembers as a child how to pray. And just like that, he is removed from this place. God shows him a time where he was able to correct the mistreatment of his mother. This, however, is not so easy to do in this astral plane. The place that Gary is in is filled with an immense love. He is overwhelmed at how beautiful this place is. All his pain, anxiety, and worry is all gone. Every soul here wants to serve others, and this is what Gary wants to do. On occasion, he sees angels in a distant realm. He strives to be that perfect and knows that he has a lot of work ahead of him. The place that we end up in the afterworld depends upon what we bring with us from our earthly life. Were we kind, giving, considerate, compassionate, and loving to others? Or did we express fear, anger, victimhood, addictions, or any other dense expressions? Were we judgmental, rude, or abusive? This can cause considerable difficulties in the afterworld, and for some, a dark realm. Yes, there are dark realms full of lost souls that have manifested evil on earth. However, if you gain inner light, wisdom, courage, and temperance, you will flourish in the afterlife, and perhaps have no need to rebirth, unless of course you want to serve. Earth is different now. Things have changed. We now have opportunities like never before to stop this maddening rebirth loop that Gary has found himself in. We can finally stop these karmic loops of bad behavior and soar to higher realms like Buddha or Jesus and many other higher hierarchies. Realms like heaven, nirvana, swargaloka are all attainable if one does the work and takes advantage of this epoch we are in. Gary wants to do better. He is uncomfortable of where he is at.
Imagine for a moment that there's a species living a life free of pain and suffering, free of evil, free of ever getting old or tired. Imagine their life of always being loved and always loving others. How wonderful would that be? Now what if the people of this place have no idea of how wonderful they actually have it? How could they gauge how good their existence really was? Now because of the forgetfulness of amnesia, they have no reference point from where they are. Is there such a place to show them about the difference? Yes, it's called Earth. Now in the past, Earth has had good and evil, light and dark. Well, that would take a pretty brave soul to volunteer to live in a visceral place like that. Now, besides just being curious, why else would they want to go to a place to learn through pain and suffering? Yes, there are some great lessons to be learned from this old way of planet Earth. Pain and suffering does have a way of getting one's attention, of course. But is that way of learning of use to them anymore? No, it's not. Learning through pain and suffering is over, and of those that have come to the realization of this, are no longer in karmic loops, but are learning through love and joy.
And if all of us are working together, we can shift the collective consciousness of Earth to Eden, where we can continue to learn through love and not pain and suffering.
Thank you. So, my talk is about there is no death. I've interviewed, sat with many, many people that have transitioned. They've all told me this. It's just another place. We don't die. So what happens when we die? Some of them have communication prior to death. Angels, loved ones. A person transitioning may get signs, or get visions, or even angels. Abraham Lincoln even knew he was going to die days before. He talked to his best friend about, I'm not going to be here, I'm going to die. So some of us actually get some of that. Now loved ones that survive could actually get a gut feeling that they're going to exit. I know I did that with my brother. I knew my brother was going to transition. And my brother Alan was going through some times in his life, and I knew he was not long for this earth. So I did my very best to let him know that he's loved. So what happens at the moment of death? The soul, the astral etheric consciousness, it leaves the physical body. We rise above, fully conscious, fully conscious. It's not an end, but a transition point where the soul continues. And we have like a 360 view of everything. We can see behind us, in front of us, everywhere. Not through our eyes, but through some type of vision multidimensional. They're able to visit loved ones wherever they are simultaneously. The consciousness continues. It just doesn't end. It's a state of being aware of oneself. And once we leave the body behind, we use our will to move it wherever we want to go. And our thinking and feeling, it all continues. So how the physical body is perceived to those that have transitioned. It appears very small to them because they're much bigger. And they kind of find it actually kind of weird. I was in that body. And it often feels odd to them. Like kind of disassociated with it. You know, we think about our body. We work with it every single day. How in the world could we be detached from it that easy? Some of them even feel like it's an old jacket. Through my communication with Robin Williams, he was the one that actually came up with the title of this, There Is No Death. That was the first thing he said to me, Craig, there is no death. Going to the light is one of the first things that we feel drawn to. We go right to the light, and that is the God source. We're drawn to it. Most of us want to go towards that light. This immense feeling of elation and love, it just comes over us. And the pull from source can be very strong. I've had some people say that it's just neck break speed. It's so fast and so strong. Now, some of them not seeing the light. Those that were evil, mean, or destructive, they're going to have some difficulties finding the light. They tend to stay close to earth. You know, maybe you want to call them ghosts. That's where the Buddhism calls the hungry ghosts, the ones that kind of hang out. They can feel a bit of being lost. You know, this guilt and the shame. And a lot of them want to resist being judged. To some of the religions say that's what's going to happen, you're going to be judged. So sometimes I think it takes about 3 days to disengage from our bodies. 3 days. That's what the beings have told me. But a lot of times during that 3 days, they want to say goodbye to their life here and loved ones. Then becomes the purification process. Any dense energies are then cleansed. Some call it a healing room, a purification process of sorts. And then we relive our life through what's called a life review. Now, entering into the spiritual world, the spirit world, can be often confusing. It's often similar to the birth experience, like I showed in the movie. How do we breathe? How do we see? What's going on? What are all these lights, all this confusion? So it takes us a little bit of time to get acclimated back into home. But you do have assistance. You do. We all do. It's there at any moment you can ask. Now, the souls that are progressed here on earth find it really familiar. Almost like, I know what to do. That's why it's important that we do our spiritual work. That's why we're here. Now, the life review. A lot of them experience it like it's a timelessness movie. It's just all at once. And they see how their words and action impact others as if it was you. You actually feel how they felt when you said this or felt or did something to them. And this whole thing is the purpose to learn and grow and get a greater understanding of themselves. No one's ever judged. You may judge yourself, but no one is judged. That was an eye-opener for me because I came from Catholicism. Now, the healing place. It's a purification process where all your earth densities are shed. It's a place We can shed some of our astral substances, our emotions, our desires. The process where the soul is prepared for the spirit world. It's like we're getting ready to go back. Light beings, angels can assist you and help cleanse and heal the astral body. Love, beauty, and knowledge flows into you. It's so immense. But that love is healing. And the colors, they've been described as, they're just not here on this planet. They're colors that are just out of this world. And they actually, to me, they have a consciousness. Colors have a consciousness. And we begin to realize that we're all connected to this infinite knowledge. And when John Lennon talked to me, he said, I didn't feel stupid anymore, Craig. Can you imagine being connected to the infinite knowledge? Just like that. Albert Einstein said to me, because I did a bunch of instrumental transcommunication where I communicated with the dead. And he said, how do you think I was able to publish all those papers? I connected to the infinite intelligence. He meditated. He told me he meditated. Tesla, same thing. He said the same thing. He just connected and was able to get all those beautiful things, like inventing the radio and all the wonderful things he invented. Being met with loved ones that have passed, maybe it's a grandfather or a sibling, we feel the gratitude and that loving connection to our loved ones much deeper than we do when we're here on earth. We feel the sense of being at home. That's what every single one of the death and backers said. Craig, I was at home. This is not home. Although we love it. We love it here, right? Now, bringing places to us. Earth experiences is going from one fixed place to another. In the spirit realm, it's not a fixed place, but more of a place of existence or an experience. In the spirit world, we bring that place of existence to us. That's how it works. Now, there are peaceful realms and there are chaotic realms. Higher realms, infinite realms, the Godhead, the realms of bliss, higher wisdom, ecstasy are reachable if one has been spiritually developing. Am I doing this? If they did not develop spiritually, we can aspire to these higher realms. And that's why we choose to reincarnate. Now, the hierarchy realms, the spiritual realms, are composed of hierarchies. This is a tough one for me to say. The Godhead, the infinite realms, is of the highest realms. The beings of higher realms were actively involved in the creation of Earth, humanity, the solar system, all of that. They're responsible for this. They're actually shaping our evolution. And so are we. Now, once the need to reincarnate ends, one enters into the infinite realms of God. Higher beings, angelic beings, focus their attention on human development. They're around us. They're responsible. That's what they do in the etheric area. Angelic beings with higher consciousness understand their realm, and they also understand the plant, the animal, and the humans. It's the beauty of that. They're able to know what's going on. The second coming of Christ is the spiritual presence of him in the etheric realm. He's in his etheric body. He's influencing individual souls and our evolution. The Christ consciousness. When someone is transitioned, they feel this infinite part of everything. We feel separated. They don't. They feel an infinite part of it all. They no longer feel that separation because we are all one. In the afterlife, they experience another soul's perspective as if it's their own. As if it's their own. The nature of existence. There's the physical substance, etheric, life, the vitality. That's the etheric. And the astral, which is your consciousness. Now, these three bodies are not separate entities, but rather work all together and interact within that larger cosmic context. The human being works to develop its spiritual awareness through cycles of rebirth. The big picture. The world is part of a larger cosmic process with various realms of existence interacting and influencing each other. Understanding the self-creation of your soul. We have been evolving through reincarnation and karma. Through these choices that we make, we understand that we are ultimately responsible. We are ultimately responsible. They realize that they are in control of creating their soul. We're not just puppets. Where God says, you're going to do this. They take accountability, the people that are in the afterlife. They take accountability and they take ownership of their creation and they shed thoughts of any blame. They take full responsibility. I think you kind of understand what I mean. So now they get this impulse to rebirth because they do all the self-analysis. From a human perspective, they tend to not want to come back. You probably don't want to. How many of you want to come back and do this again? Raise your hand. You want to come back? Most souls in the afterlife, they feel that need to come back because they want to aspire. There's a big line. It was shown to me. All these people, this myriad of wanting to come back. So be blessed, you're here. So the self-analysis continues, observing one's own past experiences via life review, Akashic records, our feelings, our thoughts, our impulses, and how we relate to this process. They realize the importance of the moral and ethical behavior. Self-analysis is the key factor to shaping one's next rebirth. Self-analysis. Seeking answers in the spirit realm. The soul inherently wants to do better. And you can seek the higher hierarchies at any time. They're there. And wherever, if it's Buddha, Jesus, any archangel, they're there for you because they know all boats rise with each wave. It helps them. It helps us. It helps all. It helps the one. Now, of those that have developed a relationship with these beings, they're already going to have a connection. So, you might want to consider that. Other things that weaken the soul in the afterlife. These dense emotions, they destabilize us. Dense emotions. Everyday craziness. Lies, untruthfulness, and lack of purpose is also can destabilize us. Controlling, judgmental, rude, destructive, and abusive. Now, the souls with the dense emotions also become vulnerable to negative beings that can lead us down dark paths. However, positive beings can offer guidance and support. Service to others. That was something that just kept coming to me over and over and over. This is what they do. Most realize they focused on themselves here. That's what we do. Focus on ourselves. But what they do in the afterlife is they focus on others. How can we serve the other? That's what they do. It's all of what they do. Can you imagine what kind of world that would be if that's all we did? So the planning stages of the next soul plan begins. And this relies heavily on the life review, the self-analysis, the progress thus far. The process requires a strong will. Like I want to go back to Earth. I want to do this. A lot of reviewing goes on. On average, it's about 75 years of a turnaround before we come back. This life affects the afterlife. This is my message on this particular talk. Every soul's life in the afterlife is unique. How can we access where we are headed? Take time to examine your inner thoughts, your actions, your emotions. What do you find? Take a moment to quiet your mind. If it's busy, if it's chaotic, or is it peaceful? These are the things we're supposed to be working on. Calming the mind. Are you kind? Are you compassionate? Are you loving? Are you charitable? You see where this goes. Every soul's life in the afterlife. Is this the same one? Sorry. So where is heaven? Where is nirvana? Where is this? It's not a fixed place. And it's not a final destination. But there is profound peace, freedom, and no more suffering. And Jesus told me, he said, it's what you make of it. What you make of it. That's what heaven is to him. And Elvis told me that we have the keys to these places. I asked Robin Williams, where's heaven? Robin, where is it? He said, you can't look at it from here. It's not a destination. It's that consciousness. Now, Kurt Cobain, when I had conversations with Kurt Cobain, he gave me an epiphany because of his suicide and because he was such a big figure. Everyone knew Kurt Cobain. But when they found out he took his own life, all this sadness and poor Kurt and such pain and suffering. He said, Craig, it's all coming at me. From here, from there, from here, from there, from here. It's like coming at him with energy. So we have to be really conscious of what we project out to the afterlife and all these people that we love. They feel it. Can you imagine Kurt? Thousands and thousands of people. It's a little different than Elvis, isn't it? Everybody loved Elvis. He didn't have any problems. Kurt, it's another story. So we have to be really careful. So he told me, Craig, can you please tell him to think about all the wonderful music I made? I get a little choked up. I'm sorry. We have to think of them, of all the wonderful things that he did, that Kurt Cobain did. He made great music. He made people feel good. He made people feel connected. Think about that kind of stuff. Send him that. Send him that love. Not, wow, is this guy effed up? No. So dense expressions, fear, anger, blame, victimhood. Yes, victimhood. Addictions keep you tethered here in this earth. So time is of the essence. It's easier to resolve it here than it is in the spiritual world. Any of your anger, any of your situations, atonement now. Atonement now. Do it now. So a reminder, we came here to earth to learn how to ascend to higher states of consciousness. That's why we're here. How your choices shape your soul's evolution. Choosing the right words, actions, and emotions. It's not just biting your lip. Your emotions affect everybody in the etheric and the astral. Cultivate and expand your unconditional love. Just love people, no conditions. Quieting the mind. Remove those negative thoughts. It takes practice, I know. It's easier said than done. So what we do in this life determines where you will be in the afterlife. And a lot of us are asleep to this. Most of us are distracted and not conscious of our actions. We think, I didn't say anything. It still went out. We're energy. It still met that person and maybe harmed them. But you'll feel that in your life review. If you are in a conscious state of turmoil, then I'm sorry, turmoil is what you're going to see coming at you. That's why it's important to be in a joyful, loving state, peace, calm. Work at it. Whatever. Meditate. Now, Earth is a wonderful place to practice all this stuff, guys. It's the best place. It is so cool. We get to practice it every day. The cashier, are you going to notice them? Are you just going to, where's my money? When you start to practice love and you actually acknowledge and you make them actually feel like they're noticed, you watch. All of a sudden they get taller. They light up. Oh my gosh, somebody's actually noticing me. Yes, that's our job. To lift others up. This is the place where we can practice all this. We can repair it here. You see? In the afterlife, it's not so easy to repair. We've got all these humans we can practice on. In the afterlife, it's slower. It's harder to learn. Because we can learn through practice, cause and effect. It's just a great place to learn. Now, a lot of the afterlife is real. And Shakespeare, that's what that is. Life is but a dream. The impermanence of earth, everything that lives will die. Everything that was created can crumble. And in the afterlife, no one dies. And everything that was recorded in the Akashic records remains forever. It remains. It continues. New earth. Okay, this is this new shift that everybody's talking about on the spiritual community. The earth and the collective consciousness has shifted into a new dimension. And I think some of you are already feeling it. The shift allows us to learn and ascend quicker than ever before. It's such a good time to do this. It allows us to manifest light faster. Conversely, it can also allow us to manifest dark faster. It's a little bit higher speed. So we're shedding the need to learn through pain and suffering. Living in both the spiritual and the physical worlds, we must develop our ability to connect and understand that the physical and the spiritual world work together. And if we are respectful and helping the collective consciousness, it will expand to a higher version of Earth. We can do this. We can build this Earth as a higher, some call it the fifth dimension, the shift, the new epoch, whatever the words are. But the people of ancient times, they were very advanced. We've kind of gone off path a little bit. And that's what Jesus had said to me. We kind of got off course a little bit. Some say we've fallen from grace. So we need to practice shining our light every single day. You are loved. You may not feel it. You may not know it. Sometimes you feel alone. But let me remind you, you have spiritual beings. Every single one of you have spiritual beings all around you. They're guiding you. They're helping you. You just can't hear them. You can't see them. But they're here, giving you those little nudges. I guess that's it. I don't know how I'm doing on time. How am I doing on time? Does anybody have any questions? I don't know if you have a microphone. Do you have a microphone? Does anybody have any questions? Can I have some water, honey? This is my beautiful wife, by the way. Isn't she beautiful? Does anybody have any questions? Oh, thank you.
Hi, Craig. Hi, I'm Jen. Just wanted to ask you, So obviously what you're saying is the experience we have here on Earth, it sets you up for your experience
Yes.
in the spiritual world. So if you're working on your experience on Earth, but people, by the time they die, they haven't worked on it enough, do they always stay in that state of not evolving, or can you evolve while you're there? Or do you always have to come back to Earth to evolve?
Well,
and do you have a choice as to whether you have to come back? Those are my questions.
Of course you do. There's free will. You don't have to. I think when you get back there, like Gary saw these angels, and he saw, I actually seen it too, these higher realms, these higher existences. And you're just drawn to go there. You want to get better. You want to do these things. And can you learn and evolve in afterlife? Yes, you can. There are schools, there are places that you can aspire and get to and learn, but this place has such an immediate response effect. Does that help?
Thank you.
Okay. Does anybody?
Yeah. Hi, Craig. I was just curious as to who decides when you're evolved enough. Is it yourself? Your
Of course.
How do you know?
Well, you're going to find yourself in a place of existence. You're immediately going to know. And your life review is really going to show you where you're at. And that's what they do. They do a lot of self-analysis. They want to kind of see, where am I at? Where am I at on this whole thing? So you're constantly have access to where you're at all times. Did I answer your question?
Yes. Thank you.
I can't see too well, so.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi. My question is, so say for example, you have a parent that has passed on, but they weren't a particularly great person in their life. Then when it comes to you passing on, you're probably a bit more of an evolved being, or just say you definitely are. Will you still see them if you are then in that case on a different realm? Well,
So we're talking about realms of existence. Am I understanding?
yeah, in the past life, once we cross over.
So are you speaking on your own experience?
Yeah, well, I'm thinking, yeah, my experience. So my father's hasn't been the nicest person in the world, and so when he passes, he's going to pass soon, probably. I'm thinking he will be in a different realm to my mother, who passed years ago. Will he still see people if you're at a different level? You know how you're saying if you haven't done as much spiritual work here, when you pass, you're on a different realm and you want to aspire to higher realms?
Yeah.
But can you see people then in different realms? Like, I mean, because people like that, they're that way because of what's happened to them in the past, the traumas that they've had, so it's almost not really their fault. And then it's like, you wouldn't really want them to be punished in the,
Yeah. Well, there's really no punishment,
Yeah.
It's just self-analysis,
Yeah.
self-perfection. So, yes, the mother, your grandmother, is it your mother?
Oh, my mother passed away about 6
your
years
mother
ago.
obviously can connect with him, yeah, of course.
Right.
But if she chooses to be in a higher frequency, it's a little more difficult for him to get there. But it really depends on, is he really a bad guy? I mean, I don't feel it.
Yeah.
I don't really feel it.
Yeah, I'm just comparing behaviours. That's kind of what I mean.
Yeah.
And the reason why I ask is because I want to comfort him for when he goes to pass away, and to know that there'll be people on the other side waiting for him that will greet him.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
Because he
Yes.
he thinks you'll die and you'll rot in the ground, and that's it. But I just want to.
No, rest assured, he will be
Yeah.
loved. He will be loved.
Yeah,
He
okay.
will be hugged.
Yeah,
There's no
okay.
doubt.
Yeah.
There's no doubt. We all are.
Yes.
We all are. It's not so dreary.
Yeah. Okay. No, that's good. Thank you.
Absolutely. Is anyone else?
Yeah, over there.
Way back up there.
I'm going.
Thanks, Craig. Melissa, so you mentioned 75 years for a sort of soul to possibly reincarnate. Did I understand correctly?
Yeah, that's...
An average, I'm guessing.
Yeah, it's I've had a one that was a quick turnaround that I knew was...
Yeah.
She actually went and visited...
Yeah.
She was a man, and she went and visited the wife that was still alive. She was also a medium. Yeah, it can turn around real quick.
Yeah.
But that takes a lot to do. And normally the reason why it's, on average, it could be more. It could be a lot more, but on average it's about 75 years, because that's the self-analysis period, that they... And it's a big deal. It's a big deal to put together a plan to come to Earth. And that's about the average. It's not really... Yeah. There is no rules.
Yeah,
No
I know, but he was a Tibetan master, but he certainly has reincarnated in this little 5-year-old Tibetan Rinpoche.
Okay.
Who's coming to stay next weekend.
Sure.
And
He's coming to stay with you?
Yes, him and his family. I know, it's wonderful.
Oh, that's amazing.
But I know that it's the same guy who's come and taught here in Australia before.
That's beautiful.
And was the Gundan Trooper, because obviously they've done the tests and all the possessions of the previous Rinpoche. He's recognised as a little 4-year-old and got that right. So it's, to me, fascinating, because that was probably only a 4-year, if that 3-year turnaround.
But you're talking about some of these
But I'm talking about
advanced,
someone very evolved, exactly.
Yeah.
But so, But I'm fascinated by the 75-year-old, because I always thought it was, probably under 10 years usually, but obviously dependent on someone's soul evolution.
Yeah, and I think a lot of your mediums will tell you, is that my so-and-so that just died? No, it's not. Or yeah, it is. It's about that time, So you kind of see these patterns. It's really...
Interesting.
It's free will, It's free choice. They can do as they please.
Yeah.
But to turn around quick, it takes a pretty advanced or a good reason.
Yeah. And there was also a 72-hour sense that person, the soul spirit, hovers around and is still disengaging from the body. And I think from different conversations with other Tibetan monks, they've told me that it's around 72 hours that our sense of hearing, when someone dies, that part of that subtle part of the soul is still able to hear for up to 3 days. So I think as a death doula, that's some really helpful information to tell family, that to still speak very, in a very gentle and calm and peaceful way.
Sure.
Even after they've died.
Yeah, send them love.
Because they can still hear. Yeah.
Absolutely. They're very present.
It's interesting. Yeah.
They're very, very present.
Anyway, thank you.
Thank you. What, baby? Oh, I can't see. I'm like looking at this. Well, we're also going to be, my wife and I, Julie, we're going to be doing some workshops as well to answer anybody's questions. But if anybody has a question, I can briefly do maybe one more.
Okay.
All right?
It was, but I believe, our lives are predestined and we're going to die at this point in time. But you know how sometimes people, they don't want to die, but they're the ones that die, and the ones that do want to die don't die.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. And is that, why? Why? It's obviously they can't release themselves, or they're scared to go, as you mentioned before. People are worried about the repercussions of their actions when they get to the other side, and they're too scared to go. But if our lives are predestined, well, they're just going to go, doesn't matter what anyone wants to do, is it really?
So you're talking about a predestined plan?
I believe my personal belief is that our lives are predestined, and from when we're born, our time we're going to exit the planet is already planned, do you know? So the people who are wanting to die, not wanting to die, it doesn't matter what they feel, they're just going to die when they're going to die, don't they?
Well,
because it causes them a lot of grief.
You know, we are in control of our plan. So maybe that was written in something that they wanted to do, you know?
Go through trauma of not wanting to die and praying with a cross.
Bring the mic up, I can't.
Oh, okay. That's okay. Thank you. That's nice.
All right.
Thanks.
All right. Well, thank you so much, guys. If you have any questions, we're going to be speaking at our workshops. I don't know when. What? 4:30, I guess. All right. Thank you so much, guys.